Super Senpai Podcast. Welcome to the Super Senpai Podcast. This is a bi-weekly, episodic, tokusatsu-related podcast where we're talking about fights and tights. I'm Pat.
And I'm Grant. And it's great to be back. We had a bit of a hiatus there, buddy.
Yeah, things happen. Like it's
Life.
in a way. What are you going to do about it?
New year, new resolution, more pods, that's for sure.
Finish what we started, at the very least. Ooh,
so, what all's been going on with you in various things in the Toku fronts and so forth?
Well, we just got through the holidays, which is, I think we probably could have recorded sooner, but we got, guests coming in, it's Christmas, it's New Year's, it was unrealistic to try to schedule it any sooner, I think.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
But, that's the reality of it, right? Like,
right.
we were ready, but not ready. Beyond that, I'm still reeling over Spider-Verse, man. Like, it's not
so you got
really
to see
Toku,
it?
But yeah, I got to see it.
Awesome.
There's a picture of me I posted up on Twitter, and I gotta say, I think the face that I'm making there is a face that I have when I was 5.
That kind of joy.
Yeah. Like, that was before the movie, but I was still feeling like that after the movie. Like,
oh, wow.
That's a good feeling.
Oh, I'm so eager to see it. I want to see it so bad. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. It looks like just a great experience. Are you going to see it again?
I might. Depends. It's scheduling now. I would certainly go and see it on a Tuesday night when it's cheap. Or something.
Yeah, I definitely my wife and I need to get out and see it soon. We've been wanting to, but the stars have not aligned. Been watching anything Toku?
No, and I actually should be. That weekly Zio night we had going also kind of got put on hold from all the holiday stuff. So hopefully that'll pick up soon, or we'll set that up again maybe next week.
Well, good. Yeah, I was wondering how the experiment was progressing with the normies.
Honestly, they were liking it. It was just like all the holidays in the line. People have other things that they got to go to, other commitments.
Sure. As we understand.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I actually have been watching a fair amount of Toku and Toku-related stuffs. I believe last time we recorded, I was still watching SPD, Power Rangers SPD. At this point, I have finished it now, and I think I'm good with saying that if it's not my favorite Power Rangers season, it's probably tied for my favorite.
Wow.
In my mind's eye, Lightspeed Rescue was also really, really, really good, but SPD was just, it's just kind of everything you want, I guess, and like it definitely like what Power Rangers can be as an adaptation. I really, really enjoyed it. I tend to be a bit of a sucker for the more professional teams, quote unquote, the ones that are part of some organization or something like that. So like your Time Force and Lightspeed Rescue, like I said. So I'm just kind of already a little bit ready for something like SPD just because it's kind of a group. But it was really good. It had a great resolution. It was good thematically, really great fight choreography. I pretty much just loved it top to bottom. So that was exciting. And I've started watching a bit of Magi Ranger, or Mystic Force, I guess, the Magi Ranger adaptation, which is different, very different. I think a lot of people, at least in the PR fandom, tend to not care as much for Mystic Force. And I can sort of see why, just because coming off of SPD, it's a big tonal shift and theme shift. So maybe that's part of what it is. I can't say for sure, but so it'll be interesting. I'm still watching Kuga. I'm maybe a third of the way through Kuga right now, and I'm just like, Kuga is so good. Oh my god. It's so different, but I think that's part of what makes it so appealing. It's just not like a modern, not like a Neo Heisei type thing. So I'm really, really loving Kuga. Been watching a bit of Kaku Ranger. because have been picking up the Shout Factory sets as they've been coming out, and I'm working my way through Kaku Ranger right now, and of course I love that because it's very, very silly and ridiculous. It's my kind of thing.
I really love the Kaku Ranger suits. Like,
oh yeah,
even the first time you see them, I hope I'm thinking of the right ones, because they show up as the Alien Rangers in Mighty Morphin, right?
Correct. Yeah, the quote unquote Alien Rangers, which is
right,
just, hey,
yeah.
we really need to use these suits since we kind of just like didn't.
Yeah. But I think, I can't remember which one it was, but I had a figure of one of them, and I just like looking at it. I think it's a dope suit. Like, it's clean.
Yeah, they're really clean designs, and they're like, it's very interesting to me, the Kaku Ranger designs, because they're so very obviously ninjas, and so very obviously kind of Super Sentai Power Ranger types. It's just interesting how such simple designs can be both at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's, like, even if you just saw one of them, you're like, that is a ninja, but also it's some kind of Power Rangers person. Like, it doesn't, like, they sort of elicit both themes in a very clean, kind of minimalist way. So I'm really digging that. But it's a good series. It's a lot of fun. It has a giant kind of Ninja Turtle truck cat bus thing that I'm in love with. That's really great. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Let's see. I think that's all the Toku I've been getting up to. I've been trying to catch up. I mean, life happened, and I sort of fell behind on a lot of stuff, but I've been trying to get back at it. So, So do we want to get on to the news then, with all the happenings and so forth in fandom?
Yeah. I kind of haven't been paying too much attention, but you're closer.
There's lots to cover. So first off, Beast Morphers is going to be coming out, I don't know if it's February or March, but now that we're in January, the Power Rangers adaptation of Go Busters will be releasing within the next few episodes of the time we record. So that's exciting. New year, new PR season. That's always going to be good. And I think it'll be interesting. I think it's specifically because it's it's the first time it's been under Hasbro. So it's just kind of a new era, I guess. And I think for a lot of people coming off of, I haven't been able to watch Ninja Steel yet, but it seems like my taking the temperature of Twitter at least has been that it's not been the most well-received season, either Ninja Steel or Super Ninja Steel. And I know a lot of people soured on Dino Charge very late in the game, even though I've seen the first season of Dino Charge. I've not seen the second season all the way through. So I don't know exactly when people drop off, but apparently there's a pretty big divide near the end. So I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of excitement at just kind of the possibility of sort of new creative control, new direction for the franchise and all that. So yeah, that's exciting. That's coming down the pipe. The other big element that at least to me, is that Toei has announced the new theme/season for Super Sentai, following up after Lupat, and that's
right. Yeah,
Ryu Solgar. Is that how it's pronounced?
I was seeing.
I probably butchered it immediately. Just cut the feed. It's over. I'm done. Should have stayed.
Well, I mean, I was seeing a lot of like back and forth about what it actually is, but I mean, Ryu Soldier seems right. I guess
it seems like
I see an L. Yeah, there's an L in it, I think, but that might just be the URL. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, it's Dinosaur Nights, the Dinosaur Night season. So what's your feeling on that? Coming off of, I mean, I think we're in it seems like we are pretty positive on Lupinranger versus Patranger, and our bubble. At least what I see on the Twitter bubble is pretty mixed. But what's your feelings on Dino Nights as a theme for the new season? Just kind of in a vacuum.
Well, with Knights, I would kind of expect to see more armor pieces, and they kind of have it. Like, I'd have to pull it up again, I think, to get a feeling on it. But I would say mostly positive or leaning positive. I don't know exactly what else we're going to see from it, especially coming off of Lupat, where it's like they're very tight and sort of almost sneaky with some of the elements that they put into the suits. This one seems a little bit more straightforward, but not a bad thing. I think seeing it in action will make a difference. I thought it was going to be dragon and night themed with the Ryu, but I guess not. So I don't like the fourth Dino series, I guess. I mean, obviously dinosaurs are, solid overall, so it's not a bad thing. But
sure,
Dinos number 4.
Dinosaurs, I mean, it always works. I mean, it's one of those things where it's the theme I started with. It's the theme that I am always happy with. Like, I never get tired of it. Like, Mr. John Toei could say, hey, guess what? Right after this Dinosaur Night season, it's another dinosaur season. I'd be like, yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Toei. Like, please sir, can I have some more dinosaurs? Like holding my bowl open for him. So I'm always a fan of dinosaurs. I think I like the suits, like the look of them. I think they're much busier. I agree with you. This season has been almost maybe not minimalist, but sneaky maybe is the right word, because the way they hide those little design elements in here. These are very loud. It's a very different take, and I kind of dig it. Sentai can contain multitudes, so. But, I mean, I'm always a fan of dinosaurs. You really can't out-dinosaur me. I really can't go wrong with dinosaurs. I'm always going to be excited for it. But that'll be starting in March, so, we got a couple months here to finish up Lupat.
Yeah. And I think seeing the first roll call will make a difference. I feel like it's really tough to judge the suits alone. Seeing them in the henshin sequence, seeing them in the roll call, that's a totally... And then seeing them like just in a static image, it's not the same thing at all.
Sure. And that's always, the Gintama. Gintama is a anime that Sorachi, the mangaka, he's very, very clearly a fan of tokusatsu and things like that. And one of the title cards, or one of the splash cards for Gintama, is like, it's this super long episode title, but it's like, every time you see the new Super Sentai series, you're not on board, but by the end you're sad for it to go, or something like that. It's like,
yeah, I'm sure
always start nervous, and then that first time they pull out the gimmick, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
So are we ready to get into our sort of pre-episode review before we watch the episode?
Yes.
Okay, so for recapping, we're going to talk a little bit about episodes 30 and 31, and then we're going to watch 32 together. So episode 30, and I'm just doing these real quick. Episode 30 was a red-focused episode, both for Keiichiro and Kairi. Basically, Keiichiro is going on a day trip, and Kairi accompanies him. Both of them are sort of doing so under false pretenses, but the sort of overarching theme of it is that, unbeknownst to either one of them, that they're both hiding their intentions, Kairi is trying to spy on Keiichiro for Noelle, and because Noelle doesn't know why Keiichiro is going, and it's because Keiichiro is doing an undercover deal with some mafia types, some Yakuza types that happen to have the fire engine versus changer, and he's trying to buy that, or at least get it from them. And the sort of emotional theme of the episode really is Kairi feeling like he's not a very good person, compared to Keiichiro, who he sees as being very similar to his older brother, sort of a pure-hearted, good person, whereas Kairi thinks of himself as being very selfish and just not a good person. And I think the nice kind of payoff for the episode is Keiichiro and Kairi are having a red-on-red battle in the warehouse where the deal was supposed to be going down. And Keiichiro tells Kairi to go ahead and take his plane and take the fire engine and go save people because he can get there faster, which is kind of like the big element, or the big sort of standout moment for the episode.
I think in a previous episode, there was a similar situation, but he lamented not being able to do it. Here, he willingly accepted that Kairi would have gotten there faster. I can't remember the exact situation, but
you're right. I had forgotten about that. No, I had forgotten about that. That's a good point. That's a nice little bit of character development there. I'd completely forgotten that it happened. Then episode 31, we get a lot more internal strife on the side of the Ganglers. There's a lot of, very early on, between, is it Destra? I'm trying to remember now. It's Gauche and Destra, I think. Gauche and Destra are talking about just kind of the general situation going on, and there's a lot of back and forth about the collection, sort of strife on their team, things about, debts being paid or whether they're not paid. And so there's just kind of a good kind of glimpse into some of the Gangler motivations. I think particularly important is that Destro refers to the collection pieces as the boss's collection, which is, as far as I'm aware, that's kind of the first reference we have to them, seeing them as like, because we've talked about in the past not knowing what the interest of the Ganglers is in the pieces other than their special powers, but calling it the boss's collection makes it seem like he had these before. But then the sort of the bigger plot of the episode was that we have a Gangler that willingly turns themselves in to the Patrangers. There's a lot of interrogate. Turns out they're like a really sweet, almost like very kind Gangler. There's lots of kind of funny interrogation bits, and there's all sorts of things going on in this episode. Noelle seemingly very cruel. It's kind of a Noelle and Lupin X and Patranger Pink episode, both sort of playing off of each other about how to handle this Gangler. And it turns out the reason that Noel's being so cruel is because the collection piece that the Gangler has sort of inversely affects their emotions. Like the more evil they are, the nicer that piece will make them. So as soon as they take the piece, this seemingly nice, turning himself in, wonderful Gangler turns out is actually like super cruel and terrible and has this kind of like face cuckoo clock motif. Mm-hmm. And but then the sort of, even though they end up defeating that creature, the kind of the big payoff is that Ghost shows up with a new Gangler that is this sort of demon hamster thing. But the thing is that it has like 4 safes on its body, and Ghost takes the other safe and adds it to it. So now he's got like he's got 5 safes on his body, and so we get this kind of implication that Ghost has just been using them to build up this monster, or maybe other monsters too. And the team tries to take out, I think the monster, this multi-safe Gangler can, I think he undoes the Patrangers in their tri-combined form, and seems to be impervious to other attacks and things like that kind of at the end of the episode. So I really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed both episodes. I think the really one of my favorite little things is I think that either the piece itself or one of the multi-safe Gangler's powers is called Bad Boys, which is just kind of great.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But no, I really enjoyed both of these episodes quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, we get a little bit of building towards something, and I'm always interested in the approach of a bad guy trying to be good. Or I was like, oh, is this like a new ally? Are they going to have this like new friend? And then, the ultimate like disappointment that, no, this is a monster. Try it. Like a true monster. And it was the Lupin item that was messing with him the whole time. Just, despair. Zawas.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too that we're seeing more. I mean, we've mentioned before that we want to know more about the Ganglers, but we're seeing more of a little bit more into the various sort of battle lines, and that they're not all unified. And I think given that the heroes aren't unified this season, I think the more maybe in this kind of, we're moving into the third act, the sort of the final stretch of the series. Hopefully we're going to see more of that as well. Just like, we're just going to have multiple sides kind of on all fronts battling each other. That'd be nice to see. But So for episode 32, do we have any predictions or any thoughts before we head right into it?
I think we're going to see more about that multi-safe monster, but beyond that, I don't have anything.
Yeah, me either. So, you ready to watch that episode?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
この番組は楽しい時を作るグループ PRT とザ・コミックフィンドとご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
And we're back.
Yeah.
Boy, it has been a while since watching an episode.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? It was good to be back, though. Good to be back. So, do you want to do a quick little recap of the episode's events?
Yes. So, this was a follow-up to the previous episode's multi-safe monster. They addressed the fact that they couldn't sort of cheat their way out of it, or the Lupinrangers couldn't cheat their way out of it by making duplicates of Kairi like they would have. Because of the bad boys.
What are you going to do?
You can't do it. So they actually had to team up. Keiichiro and Noel had to duel. Noel had to force him into a duel to agree to assist them for this. So they duel. Multi-monster shows back up. And we see the result of the duel was that Noel had won. And so as a team, they sort of, not necessarily begrudgingly, because they accepted the terms of the duel. They go ahead and fight, and they win. We get to see a cool finisher from them. But then Noel goes back to the scene to reflect on it, and it seems that Keiichiro had thrown the duel because of something that Noel had said. But I think that was mostly it. It was a pretty straightforward episode overall. Did I miss something?
Well, I mean, do we want to talk about the really big reveal at the end there with Keiichiro?
Oh, yes, that's right. The reason that Keiichiro had thrown it is because either he was interested in finding out. Well, Noel, what it was is that Noel had said that they are collecting the Lupin items, or the Lupin collection, to save their loved ones, and so that definitely caught Keiichiro's attention. So either he let that go or he was actually in shock about it. But it was clear that he had thrown it because of something that he had learned.
Right. And Noel specifically saying, help us get our loved ones back. He didn't really have a lot of time. He shouted it during the duel. So there's still some questions for Keiichiro coming out of it. So from my perspective, I really enjoyed this episode. I mean, I think we got to see I really enjoyed this episode. I think all the set pieces really worked. The opening scene that was in between the buildings and had some really good perspective with the Lupinrangers on sort of I guess like a balcony in between the multi-safe monster and Pat Kaiser. And then that turned into a little fight there on that ledge. I thought that was a really good just kind of sequence. I enjoyed the battle with the multi-safe monster that was near in this sort of indoor atrium with the statues and the white and the gold and everything like that. And I think the duel with Noel and Keiichiro underground also worked really well. So kind of all the environments in this one were really, really distinctive and exciting. And I think it really helped add a lot of weight to what was going on.
Yeah. And I said this while we were recording it, but I'm pretty sure that underground shot was a set they used in Kamen Rider Gaim and then again in Kamen Rider X-Aid. Just like, I was like, oh, cool. I haven't seen this in a while. So pretty sure that's what that was. I love seeing, I forgot. It's just X Kaiser, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I love seeing Mecha Shiva. And the finale attack that they use for it it's a real fun one. Like, even though it's kind of just like punching the air, punching and kicking the air, all of the VS vehicles fly at the enemy and then also fly back, and I think it's just a really cool effect. And then when they were beating the multi-safe monster on the ground, that sweet final smash was I just enjoyed that one.
That was good.
They cut to another area. There's this like cool filter on it, and everybody throws their attack, which we've seen usually, but I think none have been as intense as this one.
Yeah, the sort of the nighttime kind of background or cityscape or whatever, that was a good backdrop for all that.
Yeah, right.
No, I agree. It was a lot of good, big, splashy attacks this episode. Obviously, the sort of X-Kaiser is so ridiculous as to defy practical effects, but I also enjoy the sort of all the vehicles fly out. It's just completely ridiculous. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. The vehicles just kind of launch forward, leaving these giant multicolored trails. They just sort of fly out and come back under just... It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just great. Like, it's just like, look at all my toys! Like,
yeah. So, that's right.
Well, because,
and usually in the situation, you're like, oh, I'm throwing my weapon at you, or I'm, like, cutting through the air, and that's a big slice. But it's really just like, my parents have a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally just like... It's just like, I'm going to truck at them. Like, it doesn't even attempt to be, they don't even say like, oh, time to load up it's not even like a gun that shoots cars or something. It's just toys flying at them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, it's interesting that, again, we got those hints last episode about the Ganglers. Didn't really feed as much into this, but we did get a little bit more with Gauche, with sort of feeling like she was experimenting to get it all just right. And it is interesting that we're sort of seeing that confirmed, that she's getting them destroyed on purpose as part of her testing process.
Right.
But even though we didn't really get much follow-up on that, I was glad for what we got. A lot of Noel's actor really got to sort of flex a lot of range this episode. And I think he pretty much sold every scene that he was in. So, How do we feel about Monsieur Butler here?
Yeah, that's right. So at the very end, he was being pretty shady about, what was it? Noel had noticed something about one of like the binoculars, I think, that the ghost was using. And Kogure kind of was like, and what did he say about them? And they're like, oh, nothing, just that he's familiar with them. And he's like, oh, okay. And then in the middle of placing the Lupin collection in his archive there, he just kind of bailed. Like, very unsafely just ran out holding a bunch of cell phones, which is just, it's just not smart. Even if you are like a ninja butler guy. Come on.
I think it's all, we mentioned this in during episode commentary, or I did, but it's interesting that in this episode, we got to see a lot of versus changers. We got to see all the collection pieces were flip phones of some variety from past seasons. And yet, when Kyrie threw the toy blimp, like the toy Zeppelin at one point, and it's like the Zeppelin somehow seemed more current than all those flip phones. Like something about a bunch of flip phones just feels incredibly outdated. I don't know how that works. I really don't, but it's just the way the mind works, I guess. But yeah, so the butler didn't even take the time to put all of the pieces into the book. He just sort of hustled out as quick as he could, which makes him, especially with all the I think, at least for me, I think with the additional strife going on between the ganglers and the sort of, subterfuge and cloak and dagger stuff going on there, now that we have, I feel like there's going to be a little less tension between the Lupinrangers and the Patrangers, now that Keiichiro is sort of wondering, wait a minute, are they actually trying to do this for a good reason? Now maybe they're going to lean more into the Butler Done It theme, so to speak, and play up all that drama, espionage, and so forth.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
So, do we have any other final thoughts or anything like that before we get to our Twitter questions?
Nope, I got nothing.
Okay, well, I think we just have one today, but give me uno momento. Here we go. Okay, so we do have one question tonight. This comes to us from Amon Drask, who is, I think, one of our newer listeners. He's been, they've been talking to me a little bit on Twitter, and I think they've consumed all of our backlog pretty quickly. But they ask, which, bless them, if the two of you were to become Sentai heroes, I already like where this is going, what colors would you fit best, as well as the animal/vehicle/ etc. as a motif and a weapon? Bonus points if you pick a name for your combined mech. Always glad you guys are back, which, yeah, we're glad to be back too. So, we got a lot to go through here. Okay, first off, what color do we think fits us best? That's a toughie.
We can't just be two reds, right? That's cheating.
I think that is cheating.
Oh, man.
I tend to enjoy Black Rangers. Not, what was his name in Zyuranger? Geki was team lead, and was it Gyodai? It was Gyodai. He was, like, very wise and strong. And, of course, I enjoyed Zack from MMPR. And I'm watching Kaku Ranger right now and getting a real kick out of Jiraiya speaking English all the time, just while everyone else speaks Japanese. So I enjoy Black. So I guess I'd go with Black, probably. If I can call an audible, I'll take Black with some sort of gold accoutrement, like this sort of, either it's the dragon armor that Burai had in Zyuranger, the Green Ranger, or something like that, some kind of gold flare, because I think the black and gold, or like kind of like how the Black Ranger in or Gold Ranger in Zeo or O Ranger had that giant kind of gold armor for the shoulders. I think that's just a really great look. So I'd want to be Black with some kind of gold armor piece thing.
I'm gonna go with blue. Well, these days, this isn't really a thing or as common, but these days I lean more towards purple, and for a time, red was more my color. But I want to say from the beginning, I was more Jordan. Maybe this is simple as like he had glasses too, but because sometimes that's what it takes. But I like Billy a lot.
Sure.
And there's a picture of me that I still have to find that is the Blue Ranger for Halloween. And
nice.
I'm gonna go with the blue on this.
Okay.
But to match your gold, I'm not sure exactly what details here, but some kind of blue with silver highlights, I think.
Oh,
silver accents on it.
I like that. That works.
I think that'd be really cool.
Okay. Now we have to do the animal or vehicle, or what's our motif?
Oof.
That's a toughie.
This is hard, yeah.
Nothing insectoid. I don't really do insects. That's not really my thing.
What
animal would it have to be?
Let's keep it to something you can have as a pet.
Okay, so what pet would I be? Okay, that's you know what? We'll go with a hamster, but like my mecha attack is the hamster ball. Like the mecha is inside a giant like hamster ball and like runs really fast and like rolls over enemies. Nice. I'm good with that.
Okay.
What is your house pet combo?
Yeah, this is definitely unique. I was thinking about it. Something to have as a pet. I mean, you could have bugs as pets, but yeah, let's stick away from that for whatever reason. This is a real on the spot kind of answer. I want to say cat, but I don't want to say cat. Like it feels too on the nose somehow.
Maybe Maybe like one of those hairless cats.
No.
You don't want
I'm sorry, fans of hairless cats. I don't need it.
You don't want like the giant mecha wrinkles, like the giant like metal plates smashed together.
No. I put some really weird restrictions on this, but I made you do it, so I can't even
What about house cat? But instead of just house cat, it's like when people put those little toy lion's manes on their house cats. So you look like your mecha would look like a lion, but it's like a house cat dressed up like cosplaying as a lion.
Oh my goodness. Okay, how about like this is such a weird team, but maybe like some kind of like a bird you could have as a pet.
Okay, maybe like a parrot.
Well, no, too big. Maybe like a parakeet or just something small.
Okay, sure.
Does your small?
Okay, because it's a pet parakeet. It should just be like in a bird cage, and the bird cage is like a UFO. It can like fly around, and then mine's in the hamster ball.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. So that's the vehicles. The vehicles a bird cage. I don't know that. Okay, yeah, this is a different form. I don't know if this would be the main one, but I'm into this. This is fun.
So clearly, our team name is Patranger. Clearly, and now we need to figure out our weapon. I think my weapon would have to be something. I like the weapons when they don't necessarily have anything to do with like the theme. So I'm just like a trident, just like a straight up trident. Like why not?
Okay.
With like little hamsters and for the tips.
A kind of a pole arm thing, fine.
Yeah.
So then
deadly hamster trident.
Sure, yeah.
As you do.
Real grab bag answers here.
Gotta let the people know what we're about.
No, yeah. Gee whiz. So something it's not I can't have I was gonna go with a scythe, but that seems a little bit
No, that's great. You're like a morbid parakeet. I love it.
Just a bit. Or like, oh no. Okay, it'll be like dual scythes, like the sickles or whatever.
Oh, the little hand ones.
Yeah, little hand ones.
Yeah. Wait, with a chain or without a chain?
With a chain.
Okay,
gotta have the chain.
I'm good with that.
All right, so there we go.
All right, I like our Pet Ranger team. Go Pet Ranger.
Yeah. And then I think we need our giant robot, which is made of two things: a hamster.
So
like a hamster wheel or a hamster ball and a cage.
Yeah, I feel like the hamster ball is the chest, the bird cage is the head, and then the hamster splits and becomes the legs, and then the bird attaches to the back, and the wings are the arms.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
I guess so.
Yep, and then maybe they can wield some. I don't know what our final attack is. What's our final smash, Pat?
Somehow you've combined the trident and the two scythes, and to everyone's disappointment, it's actually just a giant laser. Nothing like...
Maybe the bird, like the size are like the handles, and like the bird wings like clasp onto them, and like fire down the long, like the pole part of the trident. It's just a super doom beam.
It's like a rail gun, but it shoots sides.
Yeah, it's just literally a rail gun.
Yeah. There you go.
I love it.
And its name is...
the gimmick is that we can put different forms of like pet food in it.
Oh,
and it fires like different effects.
Oh my gosh.
And it doesn't matter what you put in, because it's a rail gun. It's gonna fire it at such an accelerated speed it'll just blow through any enemy.
Sure, yeah. Wet food, dry food, pellets, those little cricket things. No matter what you put in, it's just lays waste to its enemies. Sure,
it's perfect. It's flawless.
Well, I guess it's like Pet Kaiser then, or
Pet Kaiser, clearly.
Sure, yeah. Oh my gosh.
There it is. I mean, obviously, I didn't know we were going full Pet Ranger with this, but it makes perfect sense. Now that we're here, the journey makes total sense. All right, well, that was it for our Twitter questions. Thanks so much, everybody, for being patient with us. We're glad to be back, and looking forward to hopefully catching up on Lupinranger vs. Patranger, bringing you guys some more special episodes before Ryusoulger is out.
Yeah. And we'll see. Maybe we'll check that out. We'll see how that goes.
We'll do something else. We don't know.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to the Super Senpai Podcast. We'll notice you again next time.
Super Senpai Podcast.